Hey guys, you were listening to Vol. This weekend I played in a one-day War Machine tournament called Battlecry. It's a regular tournament each year in February, and this time decided to play Protectorate of Menoth, running Severius 1, the Grand Scrutator, and Krios 3, Horse Krios, Tier 4 with all of the Vengers. First round incursion up against another Menoth player, the only other Menoth player at the event. Guys, this was not a big event, just, 14, 15 people I think were there. So for this first game up against Krios 1 with the mass solos list. So the idea behind his Krios list is that he's got the two Redeemers, one of them under Tristan's battle group, and he's got some Zealots, but other than that, everything's just backup guys going in for the assassination or for the infantry spam list wipe. So I thought I would be in reasonably good shape, considering I had the Covenant of Menoth, the book, to stop knockdown, and just attrition-wise, with Ashes to Ashes, the Temple Flame Guard, I figured I'd probably be better on attrition in general. He's got Iron Holt sitting back there, but the Choir should really be able to sort of shut them down a bit with the non-spells and things like that. So just having a look through the next picture here, just a bit of a closer view, there seems to be a strange crate set up here on one side, but that's actually quite good for me because it allows me to sort of hide my guys without getting shot, and I decided to take the side of the table that was further away from the forest, although looking back at it, I really should have taken the side of the table with the forest closer to me, because then I might have been able to hide Severius behind it, although actually having said that, yeah, I still really wouldn't have been able to hide very effectively against the knockdown feat. Going to the next picture, you can see my backline here. I've got a Vassal in this list and the Reckoner. Originally thought Avatar, but for 11 points you can get a Reckoner and a Vassal or an Avatar, but the thing is, with Eye of Menoth and the Reckoner, I mean, it's power 20, so you don't really need more than that to get the job done with the heavy hitting, and with the Vassal, I mean, it means that the Reckoner's going in with the assault and then sort of buying two baseball bat attacks, and then getting another one with the Vassal. But when you don't need him for close combat, he's getting 2 shots a turn kind of thing, so I felt better value than the Avatar. Next photo, you can see he's running this year Iris 1, so that's P Iris, and that Merc solo, what's his face, with the big blunderbuss, can't even remember that. Alton Ashley is the guy's name. Yeah, and he's got Oren Midwinter in the center there, even Roven and the boys as well. Next image, you can see this other side of his lineup. He's got Terran, he's got Dougal, he's got that journeyman Merc guy Gaston. Quite a funky list. I actually quite like it for its novelty and its ingenuity. I've chosen to take second turn, so he's just run up with everything. Next image, bit of a side on. You can see that I'm moving in over one of these objectives with my Temple Flame Guard and using the Iron Zeal, and just getting to grips with one of his Redeemers there with my Errants. Also moving up pretty cautiously with a Jax, and mini feeding with my Zealots. So still not a lot of carnage this game so far. Next image, you can see Iron Holt hanging up behind the crates, so they've got a little bit of protection against the inevitable knockdown feat. The problem here is, though, that he spent an entire turn just scalping out the book, so that's smart play by him. He's used both Redeemers just to boost shots into the book, and he kept at it until it was finally destroyed. And then Severius obviously has to sort of just hang back now because the feat can easily take him out. What I realized I should have done is just kept Severius behind maybe one of the crates and kept the book at the back of the army just so that it can't die and it can always keep Krios active. That way I can keep a small line of Temple Flame Guard in front of Severius, keeping them alive with Defender's Ward, possibly after I've, well, not Defender's Ward because he's got Purification, but that might have been a bit of a better play just for safety's sake. Next image, you can see Severius just waiting around here behind some quiet. This is the end of one of my turns here. Quite importantly, he had moved Iris up, P-Iris, to shoot Severius after the book had been taken out. And one thing I realized, a couple of activations after I'd been shot, is that he'd moved P-Iris within 5 inches of one of my jacks, which usually ends P-Iris's activation. So really, I sort of got off the hook there by the fact that he'd forgot that, and Severius wouldn't have been shot at all, and would have still have had 8 focus for the 2 turns. But because I forgot, we didn't bring that rule into play. So what ends up happening here is that Krios goes for it, uses the knockdown, and just takes me out with Nessia with a quick work in the Redeemers. So this is the first game loss. Been a bit rusty since I've been studying the Infinity rules pretty hard over the last couple of months. And really just should have taken some more steps to keep me alive here. And obviously, I should have capitalized on Iris not being able to do a thing. But it is what it is. That game's finished. So just going to go straight into the next game. Krios 3 against Lilith 3 in the Slay. And this guy has the Archangel. He's got an Angelius, and he's got quite a lot of Striders. Deathstalkers and Linus Arisal. I feel like this list design is not perhaps optimal because you've got more than enough stuff in that list to be able to eliminate infantry. So if your opponent is just spamming the dudes, Linus Arisal and the Deathstalkers, just more than enough to wipe everything out. What you do need to sort of balance and round the list out with is just perhaps some more durable stuff that can hold objectives and just deal higher amounts of damage. Maybe the Black Frost Shard or something would have been better. So yeah, what I'm doing this game is obviously just going to be jamming with the Knights and keeping the Errants back, because they're just going to get shot. They're not going to contribute until the late game. Next photo shows you a bit more of a close-up of his lineup there. He's got a couple of Shepherds out back, but nothing else too special. And some pretty chunky base support there. His other list is the Blightbringer, which was quite cool. First time I'd seen that model in the flesh. Next image, the prey target has gone on to the Errants there from Linus Arisal, but as discussed, there's no way that the Errants are going to be rolling up their flank. They're just going to be heading backwards to hide behind the Vengers, so there you go. Next image, this is the end of my first turn here. So I've made a screen with Avengers on the left. I've moved the Errants behind the crate. Krios is hanging out behind cover because he doesn't really want to get shot, and Hollywood on to the Avengers on the right-hand flank. Hopefully he takes out one of the Avengers closest to the Fire of Salvation, because then I can get the Vengeance move up. Next image, you can sort of see a look around the back. I've got the Choir hanging out there, running a Guardian in this list. Guardian's not really the best Jack and Menoth. I'm just trying them out. I mean, you can get a Templar for the same sort of value, but Templar, I just don't have the model, otherwise I probably would be running it. It's just better in combat than the Guardian. The thing about the Guardian, though, is it's got that Arc Node for that really rare situation where you want a Crevasse or something like that. And he has more boxes than the average Menoth Jack, so that's something as well. He even gets +2 to hit when he charges with that spear from powerful attack. Usually the throw doesn't come up, the impale, the the crit pitch, but occasionally it might yield some value. Next image, the Archangel is moved along here and is just attacking the Avengers with one of his strafe attacks. Takes out like one guy and not much else. The Strider's moving forward, but they just can't really do a dent in the Avengers armor, because as soon as Battle Driven kicks in, they go up to armor 19. And with Hollywood there, just looking pretty solid. Next image, we've got a couple of Striders coming in to shoot at Gravis, but not able to really hurt him very much at all. We even had Linus Arisal come in and move back, but just Gravis too tough for them, so no losses in that regard. Next image, what's actually happened is that Lilith has just come in here to shoot Gravis as well, so Gravis finally goes down, but only once his Warlock gets involved. That of course triggers Righteous Vengeance, so the Fire of Salvation moves along here to get into position. Now, again, kind of stuff this one up. I was planning on getting the Fire of Salvation in to attack the Archangel, but I ended up just shuffling him with Warpath a little bit and not getting into range, so that did not eventuate. The other problem here is that all of the Vengers have been shot by Lilith's feet with the Death Chill effect that it has, so I won't be attacking with the Vengers this turn, but the following turn's fine, and the Jacks have not been affected by the Death Chill either. Next image, because the Fire of Salvation was not able to get to the Archangel, I've decided to have a crack at Linissa Rissel instead, so he easily disposes of Linissa, and the Guardian moves up to take out one of the Deathstalkers. And the Vengers, as you can see, are just chilling. I think they can forfeit their attack and then move into combat, so that's probably what they've done here. Next image, you can see that the errants are just hanging out behind the wall Avengers who with Death Shield, and not expecting to run into much difficulty there. Even with CRA, they are going to tank those piddly little arrows, so we're going to be fine. And Krios just staying outside of the kill box in his little corner with Warpath upkicked. Next image, I've managed to attack the Archangel a little bit, but he's now moving forward to attack the Fire of Salvation in the rear and destroy him, possibly along with one or two of these Avengers as well with his full activation. And next up, the Guardian charges the Archangel charges the Angelius even. The Angelius charges the Guardian, and with the armor-piercing star attack, it does a whole lot of damage, but this is a Jack with like 34 boxes and armor 19, so after the star attack's been spent, the Guardian is fine. So, living the dream there. I'm going to get to attack back with the Guardian after this. Next up, I get to have a follow-up turn here where the Vengers, what's left of them, get involved, doing a hefty amount of damage to the Archangel but not killing it, wiping out most of the Striders there on the left-hand flank, and at this point, since his Deathstalkers and Striders are generally low in number, the errants are coming to the party. Guardian is pretty badly damaged, but still functional. Decided not to go after Lilith herself because she had enough transfers there, so it wasn't really worth it. And again, Krios just hanging back with several focus. Next image, the Guardian just not in range of Lilith herself after her follow-up turn, achieves very little, so just looking pretty strong here. Gonna go up and probably attempt to score in future turns with Krios, unless of course the Archangel will keep sticking around. Next image, he's decided to make a play here with Escort, using the Archangel to actually come over here and attack Krios. So just this template here is just fumbling with the location of him, but we agreed that he could actually fly over a little bit further and get into a range of 2 inches. But the problem with that is that, as you can see from that melee widget, he's going to take a free strike from the Guardian if he does that. So that's what he opted to do. So the Archangel flies over, takes a free strike from the Guardian and Avenger, and loses like everything except for the body. So can't boost and rolling 1 dice to hit. Now the rulebook says that if you need more than a 6 to hit and you're rolling 1 dice, even a 6 will not hit. So originally I thought that throwing 1 dice, even if you need like a 7 to hit, if you get a 6 it will work because it's all dice rolls of a 6. But apparently that's an exception, you still cannot make it. And so just basically going to the last, second to last photo here of Archangel versus Krios. Although he actually made the rolls, we realized it was not actually valid. You cannot roll on a single dice and get the 6, even though he managed to get it. That was turned out not to be the case, so we backtracked that one and Krios took 0 damage. Next image, the Guardian in the following turn retaliates and wipes out Lilith, so that was the end of the game. Again, I felt like this was really strongly in my favour matchup-wise, but if the Guardian and the Avenger had just fluffed their free strikes, I really would have lost there because Krios left himself a little bit too close to the Archangel, so just underestimating the Legion there. And it is kind of cool that that Lilith has Escort going for her, but to be honest, the feat and Escort seem to be the only thing going for her. If I played Legion, I probably would give her a go, but she does seem a little bit on the boring side. Next photo, next game, I'm up against Signar. Gonna go back to P. Severius for this one, and we're up against Epic Kane. Scenario looks like, the Divider 1, 2 fronts, or whatever it's called. Can't even remember what the name of it is, incoming, something like that. My objective is Arcane Wonder. Can't remember what his was, and this is the deployment here. So just let's get straight into it. Next photo shows you his boom howlers. He's got a couple of jack. He's actually got ace as well as a defender and rowdy. So this is an extremely jack heavy list relative to the standard Krios lists. Next image. I have moved up aggressively onto the right hand flank. Game plan here is really just to steamroll on attrition. He's got a lot of guns, and Epicane is very good at shooting infantry, but in the long run my jacks are probably going to do better than his are. And with ashes to ashes on my side, I should be able to clear out the chaff there and muscle my way through, hopefully. Next image. He's moved up pretty aggressively with the boom howlers. Iris has shot maybe one or two errants, or one errant there. Ace tried to get in there with his magic bullet, shenanigans, but managed to get a double one. So, yeah, it's been pretty poor with dice rolls. I think he missed a shot with the defender as well. Just generally not having a great time on the Signar side with the dice, but that's okay. Defender's Ward on the other side of the battlefield on the Zealots because they are far enough away that Iris can't shoot it off at this stage. Next image, you can see Severius is very scared of Kane. He's hanging out behind the obstacle with the Covenant and Choir body blocking there as well, because he's only got one focus. But with that initial wall of Temple Flame Guard followed by the backup wall, I'm pretty sure I'm safe. Plus Kane is like 30 inches away anyway, so that's paranoia for you. The Zealots have used their many feet just contest the left hand side, and on the right hand side I don't have Severius in the zone, but the zone is pretty clear because I've managed to murder about 6 or 7 of the boom howlers, and an ashes to ashes took out Iris as well. So yeah, he didn't really pass many of the 4+ toughs, but yeah, definitely luck going well for Menoth here. Next image, you can see Rowdy's moving in. He's using his Quake to knock down 3 of the Zealots. You'll notice the little counters I'm using there are actually borrowed from Infinity, because I'm playing Infinity a lot at the moment. Just using them as knockdown counters at this point. Next image, still trying to clear up the boom howlers. Have got the Blessing of Salvation with the Vision spell upkept on him, and the Reckoner clipping the zone, blapping away with his consecrated cannon, whatever it's called. So things going pretty well there. Next image, Kane has moved in and shot some of the errants, but he's not gate crashed back. So the plan is just assassinate him by moving around with the Archnode, the Blessing of Salvation, and also gunning him with the Reckoner, but both of those attempts were whiffed, so the 3d6 dice just did not come up to actually get Kane, so that plan had to be aborted. Next image, Kane has obviously got Rowdy backing him up with the Defender, who's now on fire because the Temple Flame Guard have come up and struck that one down. But yeah, just really whittled his force down to a manageable number. Next photo, Severius has decided to get a little bit braver by moving a little bit further around the corner. He's still blocking with Rupert and the book there, so he's feeling safe, and the zone's still looking pretty secure. So that's how we're going at the moment. Still haven't used my feet, I believe. Next image, we've progressed a turn or two, so Severius has now managed to run into the zone because Kane's all the way on the other side of the battlefield. Starting to score now. We've got they've got the Reckoner, and so we've got the Blessing of Vengeance actually going after the objective at this point. The Reckoner has destroyed the Defender, and just at this point you can see Holt has run all the way around to contest the zone on his side, because I tried to do it with Rupert and I got countercharged by Rowdy for getting countercharged. So Rupert died, and then Holt moves in behind him to contest. Next image, you got Rowdy sort of having cleared up Holt and moving around to have a fight with the Temple Flame Guard, who are now engaging him from distance, and Kane also moving across here to shoot several of them. So Signar moving up to several points. Kane also shoots the objective using his feet, so knocks that out. Signar go to 3 points, but conceding extra points to me because he's got nothing to contest my zone at the same time. Next image, just taking out the trash here, the Reckoner wipes out the remnants of the Signar Warjacks and the objective at the same time, so that's going to bump me up to several points, and I've moved the Temple Flame Guard into the zone in the background there behind that smoke tree, that fog tree, the smog tree. Next image, you can see the Temple Flame Guard contesting. I'm in combat with the last of the gun mages with my blessing there, and just moving the book around 10 inches around so he can actually just jump into the zone the following turn. So this puts Menoth up to like 4 points, Signar on 3, so he can easily kill the Temple Flame Guard and go to 4 points, but that's gonna be it at the end of that turn. So not too much else to report, just going to go into the final game, and possibly the most interesting game. This is back to Krios 3 again, up against Bart with the Galleon. So this is the famed Bart Galleon list, not running any nests here, but he does have the Eliminators, so they're going to be a worry. My problem with Eliminators is that if they come up and jam the Avengers, I can't really charge. But having said that, Krios is actually pretty good at killing the Eliminators because of the Cyto boost that he grants to the Avengers. Also of importance in this list is Gravis, who will give me the opportunity to ignore Bart's feet and just go in without getting knocked down. In my deployment, I forgot to deploy Gravis, so in my first turn I asked my opponent if it's cool to just deploy him, so I got my opponent to just put him somewhere. Anyway, next photo shows you what else he's got. Wrong Eye, Snapjaw, Orin Midwinter. He's got post-nerf, what's me call? A guy with the grenades, Black Oil Man. DeWolf, Gorman DeWolf as he's called. We've got the Eliminators, Harland Versh, awesome, pretty typical stuff really, and Dougal. Going to the next photo, so I've got the first turn here, just moving to a position where if he really has to sort of run with the Galleon first turn to get closer to the objective, in which case I might be able to actually send 1 or 2 attacks into him, so also the lighting in the hall's starting to get a bit strong. Next photo, you can see the other flank here. There is a water feature, but I figure that I'm going to get shot anyway, so gaining Pathfinder is going to negate that, even if they do need to go through it, which they probably don't, to be honest. Next image, a bit blurry, but Gravis has been placed on the field finally, coming from reserve essentially, and the Avengers just taking the long way around on this flank. I've got a while. I mean, the good thing here is that there are several elements of the army that can actually destroy the Galleon. We've got, you know, either unit Avengers, we've got either of the Jacks with Ignite on them, Gravis himself might be able to do some damage, and finally Krios himself with Ignite the feat. You know, he's got a Blessed Lance as well, so I'm not too afraid of the Galleon, but just the late game attrition with him picking away at me without me being able to get to grips is, again, just one of the annoying things about Menoth is that whenever you're up against like a ranged army, you're just losing guys, and just trying to attrition in the long term, which is, to be honest, one of the things that I enjoy less about Menoth compared to Kador, for example. Next image, so everything's just moved straight forward. We've got the Gorman Cloud, we've got Snapjaw putting the Spiny Growth, as you do, batten down the hatches, just pretty standard turn. Harlan Versh repositioning to the other side so that he's closer to the unit with Holy Ward, but of course we'll be dropping Holy Ward the next turn. So next image, decided to go for the jam play. Because he hasn't featured yet, I've just moved all the errants in a big screen. We've moved all of the Avengers in a position where they should be able to just charge, or at least several of them be able to charge the Galleon, if not tie up some of his troops, and really just force him to do something. Both Jacks into the center field, so he's going to have to feat next turn, in which case I should be able to send in some Avengers, just not the Jacks, because they're not immune to knockdown. But the thing is, while he's dealing with Avengers, I can send in the second wave of Jacks and do it that way. So next image, yeah, you can sort of see the layout here. I've got one of the Avengers moved in to destroy an Eliminator, which is good because it prevents the second one from using Gang, of course. And Krios just hanging back like a coward behind the wall. Next image, the other Eliminators moving through, taking out a couple of errants, triggering Righteous Vengeance on the Warjack, but he's not going to be able to make use of it because of the upcoming feat. Orin Midwinter moves up and casts Null Magic, but he forgets to activate Bart first, so annoyingly for my opponent, Null Magic is also affecting some of the stuff on the friendly mercenary side. Next image, looks like the closing the turn off here with Galleon moving into the zone, blowing up a whole bunch of Avengers with his guns, so that was to be expected, and at least I've got plenty of models left, well, at least some models left to retaliate with. So next image, I am moving in with two Vengers made it to the Galleon. Another one tried to charge from the right-hand flank but didn't get there. Gravis has moved up into the center of the field so he can provide the knockdown aura. I actually moved one of the Vengers to the top right of the photo outside of the aura to charge Halt, but that was outside the 10-inch bubble, so a 9-inch bubble I should say, so he got automatically knocked down. Did a little bit of damage to the Galleon. Every little bit helps. He's got no repair mechanic there. So anyway, the Wrong Eye moves through to attack the Vengers and manages to wipe them out, or one of them out, with the tail, as you'd expect with retaliation. One of the eliminators is fleeing, by the way. The one in the center of the photo obscured by the lance. Next image, Galleon moving through here and attacking the Fire of Salvation and destroying him. So would have loved to get that Fire of Salvation into combat, but at least I've got a fresh Guardian there ready to go to try and do the damage. So next image, that's what's happened. I've moved in with Ignite and the Guardian, also using the feet to strip off Spiny Growth, attacking the Galleon with fully 3-soul Gravis plus the maxed out Guardian with Ignite, and destroying the Galleon finally. But he's still got a lot of stuff left. He's got Wrong Eye Snapjaw, he's got the Wrestler, sorry not the Wrestler, the Bull Snapper, he's got tons of Merc Solars in the background, so it's just a matter of me sort of pulling through and clearing the zone, I think, now, and trying to win on scenario. But I've got Krios, who's moved out to the side here with Holy Ward, so I'm freeing up a charge lane to hopefully get into the action next turn. Speaking the next turn, just a bit of shuffling here from the mercenary troops. We've got Bart going in there and killing a couple of errants and giving him some blood quench tokens. The Guardian is damaged, but not so badly damaged that he is out of action. He's got an upkeep on him, shot by Harlan Versh and Ayana and everyone else, but manages to survive with a right arm and a cortex intact. So next photo, we've got Gravis and we've got a Guardian here ready to go against Bart, but the problem is that Bart's coming, 3 focus and 3 blood tokens, so it's going to be hard to get in there. My plan here was to charge with Gravis and charge with 1 focus from the Guardian and try to raw dog the hit. But let's see how that turned out. So next photo, what's happened here is the Guardian's come in and managed to hit, needing a 7, I think, getting that off and doing like 5 or 6 damage, or actually probably closer to 7 or 8 damage. Krios was free to charge, but I blocked the charge lane with my own choir member, which was extremely stupid if you look back at the other photo. So I had to use Crevasse on my own choir member, which is just like the absolutely most moron moment of my entire tournament here today. But anyway, using Crevasse leaves him with like 3 focus left after he dish 1 out to the Guardian, and then just charges through and luckily managed to kill Bart in the first charge attack. So yeah, worked out well in the end. 3 wins, 1 loss, came 3rd in the tournament. Didn't really enjoy myself that much. I mean, I've really been reading a lot of Infinity rules and focusing on that game lately, so I'm hoping to play more Infinity. But yeah, just with Menoth and with War Machine in general, I really find that the game is sort of mired and weighed down by the whole matchups system at the moment, where really it's, I mean, obviously player skill and performance is a huge deal, and that's what wins tournaments at the end of the day, but you spend your whole tournament thinking about matchups and avoiding certain matchups and, you know, thinking about the advantages and disadvantages, where I kind of wish it wasn't that way. Anyway, going to be going back to Vlad and Butcher as usual for next tournament, so I'll see you guys then.